Hey, hi, hello, friends. And we are back with another video. I know it's a little delayed, but you know what they say? Better late than never. So, this is going to be a reaction to Foodie Beauty's sleep, or is it sleep video. I know, once more, it's late. It's always going to be late. I can't do anything about it. I still feel the need that I have to like justify why it's so late, but you know. As for my face, well, you know, I'm going to a county fair later on in the day, and you know what? I figured I'd put on enough blush to rival the clowns. With all that said, let's jump right into the video. Shall we? Actually, one more disclaimer before we start. This video, her video, is 15.5 minutes. I cut down as much as I could, but it was a long live. I'm going to try and get through all of it in one sitting, but if not, I'll see if I can upload 2 videos back to back and then like maybe not do Amber's last week, or Amber's, I can just condense all 4 of her lives that she's done in the past week into one video or something like that. I don't really know what I'll do with Amber's video. I might just push it out. I don't want it to be too late either, but this is going to take a pretty long time to react to, but you know how it be. With all that said, let's finally move into the video, shall we?
Sandra, you look great and energized. I don't feel it. I'm very tired. Actually. Maybe that's why. I need to put my hair up. Maybe that's why.
Why is she not tired though?
I'm so energetic. Energetic is because, well, I always talk a lot. Like, I always have energy to talk. But I'm like sleep deprived, I think, to the point of being delirious.
There is, okay, I don't know if this is a scientific phenomenon. I've observed it in my own personal life with like family, friends, even with myself personally, where like I get to a point where I'm so tired that I get like a second win. I call it the midnight crazies. I get them on a semi-regular basis because, as you guys know, I don't have a very good sleeping schedule myself. And so it kind of, I get where she's kind of coming from. At the same time, when she says I always have energy to talk, I'm generally a pretty energetic person. We've seen multiple times that's not true. She is a very lethargic person. And even when it comes to talking, she has more and more of her videos have just been her sort of lying down on her llama and like just responding to a chat with like minutes and minutes of silence in her video, like just dead silence. I think what she means to say is that I always have energy for this, but I don't even know if that would necessarily be true. Like, I'm trying to be charitable to see in which case I could, like, how she could be looking at it where she thinks she's an energetic person. But quite frankly, I don't think it's true in really any regard.
It's like when you don't do anything, you don't get tired. So it's like a vicious cycle. And I'm like, I want to be productive, but I haven't done anything to tire me out so that I can be.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to be gross, guys.
So I do kind of get where she's coming from because when I don't go to the gym, I feel the same way. Like, I'm tired, but I'm not, like, tired. You know what I mean? Like, I'm emotionally and, like, mentally exhausted, but I'm not physically tired, and so it's hard for me to sleep. I do also suffer from, like, genuine sleep problems, so maybe my experience is not universal, but I think Chantel has a similar issues with sleeping, though I think her maybe might be more related to, like, anxiety and depression. And I think if she did some physical exercise, it would really help. It really helps me. Like, the days when I go to the gym, I sleep so much better. Like, significantly better.
Listen. I'm not wearing pants. YouTube can force me to do certain things on my live stream, and you guys too. But you can't force me to wear pants.
YouTube can't force her to do anything, and neither can the people in her chat. If they could, then she would already be doing videos about a health journey, right? Because that's what overwhelmingly the channel voted for. So no one can force her to do anything. But I don't know why anybody would go into this expecting that she wouldn't blow her nose on camera and be wearing pants, right? Like, I know that's a very low bar, but Chantel has managed to, like, mamba under it or something. It's awful.
I'm trying to do things a little more health conscious. We can't be good all the time.
she's eating fries on camera, not wearing pants, hasn't left her room in many days, and then she goes, well, I'm trying to do things that are more health conscious. I don't know what her idea of health and health conscious is necessarily. I would not be surprised if what she thinks is healthy is just thinking about doing something a little bit better, right? That's where it stops rather than actually doing something better. Chantel has said multiple times in the past that she's like, well, you have to change the way that you think about things. That's very true. You do need to change the way that you think about things, but you have to go one step further after that. Once you've changed the way that you think about things, you should also actually change the way you're doing things. You should try and hopefully work on both simultaneously. Take little steps to get where you want to go. Work on the mental side of things and work on the physical side of things. Chantel doesn't do that. She prioritizes. She's like, well, I'm going to prioritize working on the mental side of things before I ever really attempt the physical side of things. And because she never makes progress on the mental side, she never attempts the physical side either.
I'm just weird. I mean, I've always been weird. That's what I love to hear. I don't even crave it right now. At all. It's been a little while since I have.
Look, there are genuinely weird, quirky people out there, right? I am friends with some of them. I can be, in certain regards, one of those people. I'm not weird about everything, like I've said, but like I've told you guys before, partner is a oddball. He's an oddball person. I love him, but he is. My sister, if you guys knew my sister, she's one of the weirdest, funniest people I've ever known in my entire life. She is such a weirdo. But this is not weirdness. I think weirdness, the way that she means to imply it, is like quirky characteristics, right? So like partner once gave me a lecture, like 35-minute long lecture about the importance of different types of fonts, especially in a professional setting, which was both ridiculous and hilarious that that's a real thing that happened to me. Because he cares about it. It's something he genuinely cares about. My sister has this like very strange sense of humor that I've like never encountered anywhere else. Like it's the closest that I could describe her sense of humor would be like the concept of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She's just a very odd person, right? And so I know everybody has their like moments of like eccentricity. She uses the term weird to describe anything that's not conforming to societal norms, and I don't think that's entirely fair. The reason she bucks societal norms is because she doesn't like the perception of being an ordinary or an average person. She wants to be extraordinary in some way. You know, it's one of the reasons why she's so addicted to being on her channel. She loves the attention that it brings her. And that's why she clings to this label of being weird. Being weird means that you are interesting, unique, and different, right? You can be all those things and yet still do things that fall within societal norms. And at the same time, you can do what Chantel is doing, right? Like she is unique, right? But she's unique in the sense that she is on the internet self-destructing as we speak. That is not something you should be unique for. And there are societal norms for a reason. Like there's a reason why we sleep during the night and stay awake during the day, why we leave our house on a semi-regular basis, why like frequent showering is a thing that we have accepted as part of regular day-to-day life. Those are societal norms that should be embraced because there are reasons behind it. You want to be different, unique, and quirky. I don't know. Take up an obsession with llamas. I don't know what to tell you. Develop something that you are interested in, like a very niche topic that you're interested in, and be known for that, if you will, right? Like I have some friends of mine who have a very unique taste in fashion. Like I would never wear anything that they wear. I have a very basic fashion sense. You guys know I'm in t-shirts a lot and dresses a lot. But they have a very unique take on fashion. They've got very like eccentric, like haute couture pieces. You know, they've always got like the beautiful nails on. They look stunning, right? And I've got friends who are very, very passionate about like one or two subjects. Like a friend of mine, she loves like doing home renovation stuff. She's great at it. Her husband's also really great at it. So you can have hobbies that can make you stand apart from the crowd. But if you're relying on being gross, immature, and self-destructive on the internet, you can't contribute. You can't just chalk that up to, well, I'm just quirky and weird. Haha, it's funny. People aren't going to accept that. It's why it rubs people wrong so many times when she says, well, you know, I've always been weird. I've always been an oddball. This is not being an oddball. This is being both self-destructive and stupid.
I think it was more like I said, the whole party package deal, like the whole thing. The whole escaping and partying and having fun.
I find it very problematic that she still describes it as having fun. She didn't escape, she didn't party, and I don't know if she had fun. I can't really say what goes on in her brain, quite frankly. But she stayed in her room and she did drugs in her room by herself in front of the camera sometimes, I feel. So when you are doing that, that's not partying. There's no party. It's a party of one, if anything else. It's a sad woman doing drugs in the isolation of her room because she has nothing else going for her. So I just find it problematic that she's still associating the word fun with hard drugs.
Actually hyper right now. I'm starting to feel a bit better. I was so depressed. I still am, sort of, but...
Look, Pizza said that he's depressed, right? He's depressed. We've seen a little bit of it too, and I believe Pete. Pete doesn't seem like a liar. Chantel's a liar, which is not to say that I think that she's faking her depression, but I do think that she plays it up for the camera when she doesn't feel like doing something, because depression is a really convenient excuse for her. Forgive me for saying this, but people who are depressed, who have depression, do not get a pass because they're depressed. You don't get a pass from life because you have depression. There are a ton of people out there who are suffering from depression, who get up every day, go to work, and act as functional human beings. And Chantel doesn't do any of that. Chantel is incapable of doing any of that. And she uses depression as a crutch, as a shield, especially in the climate that we've cultivated today, where people are coming out more and more and sharing more and more of their struggles with mental health. It's very easy for certain segments of the population to capitalize on that and say, oh yeah, it was my mental health, right? Which is why I don't want to say that people don't deserve support, including Chantel. I think Chantel deserves support to a certain degree, but I don't think that letting her use her mental health as an excuse for all of her shit behavior is really a way to help her. Because if she sees that she can get away with it, she'll just continue to get away with it. It's how she is. If she had the ability to take personal accountability and change from her past behavior, she would have done that. She doesn't. That's why if you continue to excuse her behavior, she'll continue to capitalize on it.
Who mentions a mattress on the floor? What? The last times I was there, oh, I have a big hump here.
Ew, could be another infection.
I did not sleep on a mattress on the floor. That was like very beginning. There was a mattress, but he had a bed. So when I was live streaming, it was from the bed. It's like a double bed, but it's still big enough for it. It was still big enough for us. He's like, why do people care where I sleep if I sleep up hanging upside down like a freaking vampire? Why do people care? I'm like, because it's the internet. People care about everything.
So I think the reason people care about the fact that he's making her sleep on a mattress on the floor is because he has a bed. I'll give you an example. I have a friend who, she bought a house. They don't have any like furniture right now. And they were sleeping on a mattress on the floor, not because they couldn't afford a bed, but because right now it A, wasn't a priority, and B, they had a small daughter who had a habit of falling out. And they still have the daughter. She doesn't fall out of bed anymore is what I meant to say. So they had a mattress on the floor and they would sleep on that, so that if she ever came into their room in the middle of the night because she couldn't sleep or because she needed comfort or whatever, she could easily get in and out of bed with them. And that's why they slept on a mattress on the floor. There's nothing wrong per se with having a mattress on the floor or sleeping on a mattress on the floor and not being able to afford a bed frame. Everything is okay in that regard. That said, there is something a little bit weird about the fact that this guy has a fully functioning, legitimate bed that he wouldn't let her use for X, Y, and Z reasons, or that she didn't want to use. Either way, it says something, right? Either she didn't want to use it because she couldn't get onto it, or because she couldn't fit, or he said that you couldn't get on it, which says that he doesn't particularly care about her and he's using her, for lack of a better term. Which is it? Because both of them can't simultaneously be true. Either you have a mattress on the floor and he wanted you to use it, or there was a mattress on the floor and you wanted to use it. But either way, one of you had to have made that decision. And why wouldn't people find that odd? Right? This is another one of those things where you're looking at like societal norms. She's taking shots at people for like having societal norms. But yeah, dude, if someone has two beds and they tell you to take the less nice one, wouldn't you find that a little bit weird? As for the internet not caring, well, you are the audience you cultivate, ma'am. I don't know what to tell you.
A mattress. I used to sleep on a mattress when I lived with Pete. I just didn't want to buy a box spring. I don't know. It's like party for a weekend or buy a box spring.
I mean, are box springs that expensive? None of the beds that I have in the house, all of them are like this. They sit on like slats. I don't know if you guys can see behind me, but all of the beds in this house, mostly, except for I think my parents, have slats on them, rather than having like a box spring on them. I'm not a fan of them because they make a lot of creaky noises, and I don't know. But I didn't think box springs were all that expensive to begin with. It's the frame, the mattress frame, that can be really pricey.
I think he's just like one of those like furniture collector people that if he can get like a free furniture, he won't turn it down. You know, like this has like a random lamp or like a random dresser or coffee table. Like, I got this. Oh, cool. You know, like one of those people. Like, no, there's people like that. I know a lot of people like that in my life, actually.
Okay, so I'll say this. I do actually believe her in that regard, that there are people like that out there, mostly because my parents are kind of like that. If they get like, especially like bookshelves and stuff, they love getting free bookshelves, because what they do is they use it as furniture in the garage, and they'll put all the stuff in there and they can like add additional storage. My parents are obsessed with storage. They have a 3-story house. I don't understand how they don't have enough space for stuff. Um, but they love that stuff, right? So my mom has like a bookshelf somebody was getting rid of that they gave it to her instead, and she like cleaned it and she put it in her closet, and she uses it to like keep folded clothes on, like more traditional clothes, and stuff like that. So she loves that stuff. And then I actually kind of also like doing it because I like rehabbing old furniture. So that bed that you guys are seeing, that was like a weird brownish color. I like took a paint off, I sanded it, and I like repainted it white. There's a dresser on this side that you guys can just see the edge of it. I'm actually working on a different piece I'm going to be replacing that with. And then the table that I'm working on, that will also get replaced probably with something. I don't want to change out all the furniture in here to being white, and then it's going to be like a white and peach and gray themed room. What I mean to say is I do the same thing, but I don't just keep furniture for the sake of keeping furniture. And even if he did, who takes a used mattress unless they absolutely have to? And even if he did take a used mattress, why would he still put you on the floor when he could put you on the bed? I don't get it. Him being a furniture collector really doesn't have very much to do with whether or not you could use the bed, and that's what people have a question about.
Do you know what I mean? Sounds like my parents. It's like a random fucking cabinet. Like, that's nice, but why you doesn't fit your furniture? They don't like to let anything go to waste. The thing with the grapefruit is you have to plan.
Okay, so previous clip where she said like, it's just they just don't like anything to go to waste. Yeah, it's partially that. Partially it's also like, especially if it's stuff that's going to go in the garage or in the basement, why spend money when you can just get it for free? Someone else doesn't want it. You could make use out of it. Why not? I genuinely don't see anything wrong with that. It saves stuff from going to the landfill. It saves you from having to spend money. And the other person who did spend their hard-earned money on it, they get the assurance that, hey, somebody else is making use of something that I spend hard money on. I think all in all, if you can get something for free from someone who no longer needs it, it's a much, much better way of living than having to buy stuff all the time. Especially because I found a lot of furniture that they sell nowadays is like shitty laminate, which I really don't like. Veneers are still okay. I'm not the biggest fan of wood veneers, and solid wood furniture is ridiculously priced. So, it is what it is. The little clip at the beginning where she's talking about it is she's talking about something about a grapefruit. This is like a weird sex thing she was discussing. I don't know. I will not put it in here because I don't want to traumatize them. I don't think very many children watch this channel, but if there are any, I will not be held responsible for your therapy bill. So we skipped all of that part, and we're going to get right into what I actually want to talk about here.
And I cannot stand non-spontaneous sex. Like, I just can't stand it. I hate it. I hate the whole, like, let's make a sex schedule. Okay, let's have sex. We'll do, because I used to, like, when I was having sex, it used to be like, oh my god, I'm having sex so much compared, like, in a day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, let's do a schedule. Like, we'll do, Tuesdays between 6 and 9, we'll do one random morning, and then we'll do Fridays. Like, a lot of people do that.
All right. the people that I know who generally do this are parents. They're parents who work around their kids' schedule. I'm sorry, but like if you've got responsibilities like a job, kids, other things that you have to do, you know, like meetings, whatever, you know, other social engagements, then yeah, you got to plan it sometimes, unfortunately. Not everybody has as much free time as Chantel does. But I don't think that necessarily takes all of the fun out of it. There's something to be said for spontaneity, don't get me wrong. But depending on the type of person that you're with and depending on the type of person that you are, it can be really fun knowing that something like that is coming, you know, the anticipation of it. That's how I've always been in terms of everything in life. I am very much so like, I get excited for the weekend. The best day of the week for me is Thursday because I look forward to Friday that much. So the anticipation of any fun thing that I have to do is much greater for me than the anticipation of almost anything, in like the actual experience of anything in life. It's just how I'm built. I don't know why. That's why like the flight to a vacation is the best part of the vacation. Unless you count the flight that I took when I was going to London, because I spent that entire flight reading The Cursed Child, and then I was just depressed because that was such a bad book. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. What I mean to say is I wouldn't judge so harshly. Chantel can get away with behaving this way because she doesn't have anything going in her life, and honestly, neither does Method Man as far as I can see. He doesn't have a job and he's relying entirely on her. So of course they can be as spontaneous as they want. She's a shut-in, and as far as I know, other than whatever shady dealings he's up to, I don't think he really does anything either. And I don't know. I just don't like the way that she's like putting this right now, to be very honest with you. It just makes me feel a little like, it makes me feel some kind of way, like putting down people who choose to plan their activities out. It makes me feel a certain way about it, just because, you know, how like I have a personal stake in it because that's how I am personally as well. Last but not least, I think she likes the idea of everything in her life kind of being spontaneous because she likes knowing that she has no commitments and responsibility to anybody else, and because it makes her the center of attention. She can play it off as, I was just too hard to resist just then. You know, like she's got this need for attention that I think that spontaneity feeds.
A lot of people do that. I've done that. Do I want to watch this, or do you want to have sex? If you have to ask. If you have to ask.
You do have to ask sometimes. If you guys have ever taken care of kids, like I've babysat for people before, and I'm telling you, man, kids are exhausted. And sometimes you come to the end of the day and you think to yourself, you know what? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Do you want to have sex? So depressing. It's the most depressing question on the planet.
It's not. The most depressing question on the planet is, will my kid sleep long enough for me to be able to do the do? Because that's what I've heard from friends.
Why am I telling you guys this, really, when I think about it? Like,
because you have no boundaries.
I'm sure my family just wants to hear about this.
Yeah,
oh well, I mean, I'm a public person, so...
I want everybody to screenshot that exact phrase, I'm a public person. Right? Because when she comes back and she says, well, you know, I just want to keep things private. I don't understand why you guys are digging so much into this. I just wanted to keep things private when we're just holding her to account over words that she has said on the internet of her own free will. Because I want her to remember that she's a public person. Because she loves playing this game with us where she'll go, oh yeah, you know, I get to keep things private. I get to have a private life. Well, at the same time, oversharing all the time. So I want people to timestamp that. You can do it in my video, but preferably do it from hers. I cannot give you the timestamp. I am not willing to watch this video again. But you can go through it and you can tell me and you can screenshot it. Anytime she says, I want privacy, I'm going to send to her this exact clip that's going to say, I'm a public figure. So, okay? You're a public figure. You got to understand that's how it is, okay? Sorry. Has my hair been rubbing up against the mic the whole time? I'm so sorry. I hope that wasn't too annoying.
They better get used to it. That's all I got to say.
You'd better get used to it too. You don't seem to be aware of it.
No, but I mean, like, that's such a big thing in my life, like, or has been, and it's stressful. Is like, people, like, message my entire family, like, every time there's, like, something, you know. I'm not even bitching about that anymore, because when you're past the shock and realization that that's how it is, whatever. It's just the fact that, like, for me, it's like just like having like everything, I don't know.
Okay, so you can't say that you're, well, oh well, you know, I'm a public figure, and then go ahead and share more things about your life. like how upset it makes you and stuff like that. And she's saying she's not bitching, but she is bitching. She bitches consistently about this. Now, granted, people shouldn't be contacting her family. I don't think any one of my audience members is, but if they are, hey, knock it off. Don't be stupid. That said, also please understand that you cultivated your audience, right? And people now more than ever are reaching out when they're scared for you, right? Before, people are being assholes, but now a lot of the messages that I think people are sending to her family, and they're sending to Pete as well, is, hey, we think Chantel is high off her tits again. Please go and take care of her. Please check in on her. We're scared she's going to die on stream. Hey, could you check in on her? Maybe give her a call? Like, I don't know what to tell you, but if you didn't engage in this kind of behavior on the internet, if you didn't give people a reason to think that you might OD on camera, I don't know how much your parents and your family members would be getting. And I don't know if that's fair, quite frankly. I don't know if it's right of the internet to make it her family's responsibility that Chantel's being reckless on the internet. But quite frankly, I think that moral question goes out the window when you consider that she could literally OD on camera. If I had to think about it, the moral implications of whether or not it's okay to contact someone's family, given the option that she might die, I think saving her life is much more important than the sticky morality of contacting her family to give them information when they themselves are not public figures.
Do you know what I mean? I could honestly live, Liliana. What do you mean? Tuna Helper? I'm too scared to try it.
Really?
Test my blood sugar? I'm not going to test it right now, but I should in the morning, yeah.
I don't think she's been testing her blood sugar regularly at all. She's been eating like a crazy person, and she hasn't been taking her Ozempic. I know that she says that she's on a substitute drug, but she also says at some point, I think I've got the clip for it too, that she hasn't been taking any of her medication. She needs to talk to her doctor to get back on them. And so, like, when you are in that position, I don't think she's taking anything. I don't think she's taking her blood sugar medication either. And I think that is so incredibly dangerous. She's going to lose her feet.
Like bread, cheese. No, I got to lay off the bread and cheese right now.
Sorry about that, you guys. Just having a little bit of an issue with my computer. Let's take that again from the top.
Like bread, cheese. No, I got to lay off the bread and cheese right now. You know what it is? I just eat way too much cheese. We probably all eat way too much cheese. Like, I noticed that, like...
Okay. That was such a clear switch in her head that I just had to point it out here, where she goes, we probably all eat way too much cheese, when she's like, I eat way too much cheese. We don't know. Not everybody eats all that much cheese. My sister, for example, doesn't eat very much cheese. My parents don't eat any cheese really on a day-to-day basis because they're all lactose intolerant and because it's not really a thing for them. My in-laws don't like cheese all that much. Even partner is not the hugest fan of all cheeses all of the time. I eat maybe one serving of cheese in a day. That's generally at breakfast time. I like it in my eggs. And that's about it. Most people don't eat like a ton of cheese. It's not how it is. She has an impulse control issue and she likes cheese. So whenever there's cheese present, she just goes blah, 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 and she'll eat all of it. Like, I don't know what to do about that. Like, don't put it on everyone. Not everyone is doing that. That's just you, man.
One time I ate a lot of cheese. It wasn't like the most I've ever eaten, but it was like enough. And I didn't think
remember she ended up in the hospital one time?
And I noticed my stomach was messed up. Like, the whole, like, bloated and, like, inflamed. And
I can imagine.
Like, the inflammation is getting bad in my stomach.
I mean, she doesn't have a gallbladder. Cheese generally tends to be pretty high in fat. She can't really process fats very well.
I know, Liliana, yes. Oh, no, we're going to do a video. We're going to be doing regular upload videos. So,
yeah, I'm sure.
Probably tomorrow.
And that never materialized. Imagine my shock.
If not, like, the latest, the day after. So just the next couple days, for sure, then I'll be, like, I'm just gonna, like, you guys voted for, like, health stuff, and I think I want to focus on, like, I don't know why that's such a bad thing for me, because
she has having difficulty verbalizing her emotions here, but fundamentally she doesn't like doing it because now she feels like she's being told to do it, even if it was a direction she was already planning on taking her channel, which it doesn't matter at all what Chantel thinks, only what she does. And Chantel is very good at planning and not very good with follow through. So it's irrelevant what she thought she wanted to do. But either way, now that we've confirmed that this is what we want, she feels like, oh, they're telling me what to do, right? And then the wise words of Smokey, Steve, and Mark, you don't own me.
I feel like I have an opportunity to get healthy and make it my job at the same time. So it's like 2 stresses combined in one that I don't have to worry about. But I just feel like at the same time,
it's so funny that she's like, it's like 2 stresses combined in one, and not as opposed to that is such a great opportunity, because now I can literally be making money while I focus solely on myself, which is something most people couldn't even dream of. Like, I can't just quit my job and just work out and like think about eating and like going to therapy and doing all those things on a regular basis as just my full-time occupation. I still need to make a living somehow. She doesn't have to worry about it. She can literally just monetize it. Hell, she wouldn't even have to change anything she's doing now. She can just keep live streaming all day, every day. So the fact that it's apparently like 2 stressors at once, when in reality it's a blessing. It's a massive blessing. And the fact that she doesn't see it just, I mean, we've seen how, privileged Chantel is, but it just always surprises me the depth to which she is clueless of her own situation.
Kind of boring content wise to do for me. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. This isn't exactly riveting content here, ma'am.
And I mean, like 10,000 people voted on that poll, so a lot of people,
that's a lot,
want to see that.
Sorry about that.
But then again,
yes, they do.
That's only 10,000 people out of 80 something thousand, right?
Okay, here's something I'm going to tell you. The poll doesn't show up for everybody all the time. You have to be in the subscriptions, but most people don't actually vote on the poll. If you're getting 10,000 people out of 80,000 people to come out and like vote on your poll, that is a great engagement number. I mean, you got 1/8 of your subscriber count to come out and vote. That is fantastic. So no, to 1/8 actually says a lot about the direction in which your channel should go, because these are the viewers who are actively watching your hours and hours and hours of live streams. Not everyone is going to do that. Not everybody wants to. Not everybody cares. And she might have 80,000 subscribers, but not 80,000 subscribers tune in to watch her every day. Her most watched videos probably have more than that, but most of her videos, or average views, are like 20,000, 30,000, something in that ballpark. So when you're looking at only 10,000 out of the 80,000 said so, no, that is a huge amount of number. And it comes across more like 1/3 of our regular viewership is actually turning out and saying, hey, we want to watch this, right? And none of the other categories even came close. So you can see that it's by and large the biggest winner here. People just want you to not self-destruct on camera. And the fact that you keep looking for different ways to do it is, quite frankly, ridiculous.
So I'm going to do vlogs, and I'm going to incorporate health stuff. And it should just be effortless if I'm just turning on the camera and living my life and editing. Do you know what I mean?
No, it will not be effortless. If she wants to do that, she should go ahead and do that. I'm not discouraging her, but the fact that she thinks that weight loss should be effortless is actually ridiculous. Weight loss requires effort, both emotional and physical. That's how you get to weight loss, right? Weight loss is eating less and moving more. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy, but it is quite simple. It's an easy, straightforward equation. When you are talking about it should just be effortless, it was effortless before because you were on cocaine. It's not going to be effortless now because you eat for reasons that are unconnected to hunger. And until you get those issues resolved, it's not going to go away. It's not going to become easier on its own. And unfortunately, you are unwilling to do anything about the emotional problem. So, I like leaving this screen grab here because she looks so incredibly smug, and I think that says so much about her.
Editing, trying to put more effort into editing and stuff, and
yeah, I'm sure you are.
I don't know, it's enough work, editing and shit. I don't do really good editing. People who do really good editing, I don't know how they do it. God, you'd have no life. Or your life.
No, people treat it seriously like it's a job when they're actually getting money on living off of it. I don't put that much effort into my editing, quite frankly, because I don't think my content really needs it. And additionally, once more, this is not my main job. This is a self-sustaining hobby for me. But Chantel says that it's her job. It's her main source of income. So if she is treating it like a job, then she should treat it like a job. People who make a living on YouTube, they have fantastic editing because they treat it as a craft and they work hard and they make something of their channel.
Life would just be like your career, like it should be. A lot of people who make really good money, their career is like their life.
True, but a lot of people who make really good money also have extreme like passion, dedication, and intelligence behind what they're doing. Work smart, not hard, you know, that type of a thing. You don't have to be the best, but if you have the capability, maybe hire the best, right? Like, she wants to talk about like good weight loss content. She doesn't have to improve her editing necessarily. Why don't you hire a personal trainer that specializes in obesity and film that? Do you know how much money that could potentially make? That would be fantastic. Choosing not to do that that's on you. Effort is going to be there no matter what, but that doesn't mean that like you have to make your job, your career, your whole life. Your life can be whatever you want it to be. I work a lot. Partner works a lot. We still do a lot of stuff. We make an okay living for ourselves and we're content. But that doesn't mean that like that's the only thing that we care about. My brother does quite well for himself. That's not the only thing he does. He travels, he, you know, sees his friends. So I don't know what she means by this. I think she thinks that's how it works, which is why she's unwilling to put any kind of effort into it, because she's like, well, I don't want to sacrifice my personal life. You haven't sacrificed anything for it yet. She just doesn't want to on the off chance that it does require too much from her.
And I think for a YouTuber, it's like that too. You think I should get cheeseburgers on here?
Talking about how, you know, YouTube's our life, and then maybe, do you think I should get cheeseburgers on here?
City vlogs. I don't like living in the city. I want to move. I want to move to another fucking country, honestly. Not country. Maybe like another province or, I don't know. Tired of living here. I don't like living here. Where's like a really happening? Maybe Montreal.
I'll let this play out and then I'll come in.
I don't know. I could see it being kind of fun living there. I could move right beside the orange tulips.
Okay, so I let that play all the way through because she starts with, I want to move to a different country, and then she amends it to a different province because I think she realizes that moving countries is A, not easy, and B, would require too much from her to be able to do, both financially and I think physically. I don't think she's capable of really getting into a plane and sitting in there for that long. And then she says, I don't feel like living here. I want to move somewhere. I'm just so sick of living here. Look, you are a shut-in. You would be a shut-in even if you lived somewhere that was very happening, right? Just what she said. She said she wants to live something that's happening where she can go and do stuff. What would you do exactly? You're not comfortable in public settings. Everything gives you anxiety, apparently. So what would you do exactly in Montreal that you aren't doing here, right? I don't really see what the point of it is. And as for like moving like to a really happening place, she immediately follows that up with, you know, I could move right beside an orange tulips. That was my exact worry when I heard that Amberlynn was going to be moving from rural Kentucky to Lexington. Lexington is a much bigger hub. They've got much more like stuff like Uber Eats and all of that available. Where Chantal lives, there's probably less food options. With that many food options available to her in a city as large as Montreal, I can only imagine the kind of damage she's going to do to herself, just gorging. Because we've seen she has no self-control. She has no way of moderating what she eats.
Back on the apps. No, I have no interest in men right now. Oh, I feel so empty when I say that.
That is so sad to hear from a fully grown adult woman that apparently if you can't get attention from a guy, that like I feel so empty when I say that. And I know she takes it back a couple of seconds later, right? Context is important and all that. But still, the fact that that's a thought that she formed is quite depressing. Additionally, when she says this, I think what she thinks is that, well, you know, I'm too cool for that right now. I don't really want to deal with it. But what it comes across as, you know, is that I just want to be with the person that I was seeing before, which was Dom, because I do think that they broke up or something of that sort. Of they're having some relationship drama that she hasn't told us about. And I think that that's put her in a place where she's just like, oh, I'm done with men. You know, like the childish way that sometimes when you have a bad breakup, you think. I don't think, like with everything else in her life, I don't think she's capable of not pursuing men any more than she's capable of quitting the drugs, or any more than she's capable of, you know, being sober, any more than she's capable of going to therapy. I think she needs serious, intensive work before she can get to that point. and she has an unhealthy attachment.
You know what it is? I can't get right out. That's sad. No, I don't mean empty like in I just mean like, because what I went through recently with Dom and like having all those feelings and everything, it just drained me so emotionally that I'm not interested in going through that again with anybody. Like, I don't want to go through it.
I don't think that a reasonable solution to that is to cut yourself off from men altogether, because you know, people need other people, and especially if you are the kind of person, because I know there's like Ace is out there, but like if you are the kind of person who likes having emotional and sexual partners, not having that in your life can really take a negative toll on you, right? So I can understand her wanting that. So cutting herself off from that, I think, would do her more harm than good. That said, the fact that you got so scary attached to this guy so fast and you let it ruin you emotionally might be something you want to talk to a doctor about, because that's not how most people react to, you know, essentially just having a casual relationship with a person. And I don't even think that she likes him all that much. I think that a lot of what she feels for him is like, I think she likes the feeling of being liked. I've said this before, but I think that she enjoys that someone else wants her, because it validates to her in her own head that she is wanted, that she is desired. But I don't think she really has an emotional bond with this person. I don't think that's really possible at this stage. 1, 2, 3.
I just miss sex, that's all. That's not true, actually. You know what? That's not true. I should slap myself in the mouth for even saying that, because this whole thing we went through, the whole Dom saga thing and everything, that's what I went through, was like I developed feelings.
So the thing is that, like, you can just miss sex, right? There is something about physical intimacy that people can you can desire that. There's no reason to need anything more than that. If you do, then there's nothing wrong with that either. But not wanting anything more than that is also fine. I think it's okay, as long as both of you have clear boundaries and have established that and everything is happy and safe and consensual. It doesn't matter if that's what you wanted. The problem is that you set one boundary and you wanted another. That was the issue there. And it was from your end, not his. So you need to talk to somebody about that, because you aren't capable of clearing that up on your own. If you were, then it would be one thing. And if that's not what you wanted an actual relationship, then you need to be able to communicate that to someone as well. Either way, you need to work on your personal communication, something that I think is severely lacking here.
So no, I can't. If I think about it, I really won't just say. I just miss sex. I don't have any. I'm missing something else that no man that I go after is gonna find for me. No, honestly, they're expensive. Gonna give me. And I, you know, honestly, you don't want to know how much I've bought, because I'm doing a little bit of a tolerance break. I could probably easily eat like 500 milligrams right now and not even barely feel it.
I don't know if Chantel is really capable of that. I know there was a little bit of a double audio there. I apologize. I don't really have a way of fixing it, and I really want to get this out. But she's talking about how she's taking a little bit of a break from doing marijuana because she's built up so much of a tolerance, and, you know, they're expensive. So this is at the beginning of the month. She should, technically speaking, have a lot of money right now. And, you know, YouTube just paid her. So I'm not sure why she's still so concerned about it, especially because we've seen that historically Chantel doesn't really care about, you know, how much money she's spending when she's flush. She only seems to care about it towards the end of the month when she's running out of money. All that is to say, even with that in mind, I don't think that she has really the ability to, like, discern how much she can take safely without it really impacting her. She said that she's completely sober when obviously she's not. She becomes extremely inebriated on stream on a semi-regular basis. Do you guys remember when she was just nodding off in the middle of a sentence? No, you have no clue what your tolerance is. It would be much more appropriate, I think, if you went to a doctor and you talked to them about it, and the doctor could say, okay, I think your tolerance is this, And I think maybe you should start at this dose, and then we can go up by like 5 milligrams or what. I don't really know what the dosage for that would be, but maybe you can go up by like X amount every time to see where you are like happy, but you're not stoned out of your mind. She hasn't done any of that. You don't know what your tolerance is. And once more, it's easy enough to figure out. Go talk to a fucking doctor.
That's expensive. Like, one 500 milligram gummy is like, what, $30?
Oh my God.
Oh, okay, Mia. I was wondering. Edibles are a trigger. Yeah, they give me the worst munchies. Ugh.
I don't think that that's exactly what they meant when they said that edibles are a trigger. I think they meant that edibles can, for some people, be a trigger to doing harder drugs, and for other things, I'm sure. But as for munchies, I mean, she seems to have the munchies even when she's not high. So, girl, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't have the munchies right now, though. I'm going through a lot of things. Actually, I'm really proud of myself. No, I know, Joe. I kept a lot of stuff secret from a lot of you. From YouTube, but, I mean, I have been keeping my family and friends informed of things in my life.
She says that, and I don't know if I necessarily believe her, because once again, her family found out about her drug addiction through YouTube, so.
Another weird phenomena, I don't know if you can call it. I know people were like, oh, you're so fed up with your family and everything. And it's just like, yeah, I was fed up with. And you know what, I'm just being honest, and I know it's probably not right to feel that way. My feelings are still valid, but
I don't know if they are. I think the reason why she was upset at her family is the same reason why she's upset at her audience, is the same reason why she's upset at reactors, the same reason why she's upset at a bunch of people. Because she doesn't want the accountability. What she wants is the initial love and support that people will give you when you're struggling with something, you know? I'm so sorry you've been going through this. I'm here for you. I love you. You're valid, right? She wants all of that emotional input from people. What she doesn't want is the stuff that comes after. Do you want me to drive you to a clinic so you can get better? Do you want me to check in with you so you can get better? Do you want me to go to the gym with you so you can exercise? Want me to grocery shop with you so that we can get some healthy foods? That's the part she doesn't like. Because now that all of the sympathy she's taken in, the action that people want to take is not something she wants any part of. All she wants is the love. She has no interest in bettering her life in any way. And because of that clash of what they think should come next and what she actually wants to do, it's why she gets so mad at people and why she gets so fed up with them.
Selfish a bit, because
one more thing. She says before that she's like, I'm really proud of myself. I've kept so much of stuff to myself. I mean, most people keep all their private lives private. I'm not going to give you a pat on the back for doing the bare minimum of something that was actively making you unhappy. Absolutely not.
I reached out for their help, and now I feel overwhelmed by the help. I feel overwhelmed by people. I feel like a baby. Like, I feel like people reaching out. I like to be in control of my own life. Like, I like to, if I don't want to talk to people for a whole fucking day, I don't want to talk to people for a whole day. And I just wish that, like, people wouldn't take that personal. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm going to let her finish her thought.
Like, if my family doesn't hear from me for a whole day, they probably think I'm, like, doing something, or that's how I feel. Like, with you guys too. I'm like, how much am I gonna pay for not going live for like a day or two, you know? Yeah.
Okay. The way that I read this, the way that it occurred to me when she's saying that, I always feel like I have an expectation that, if I don't want to talk to people, I shouldn't have to talk to people. And I'm like, well, how much am I going to have to pay for this? Every relationship, including parasocial ones, are two-sided, right? There's always a give and a take. And sometimes it's a healthy give and take, and sometimes it's not. In Chantel's case, the way that she tends to treat relationships, that it's much more heavy on the take side from her end than it is on the give side. You cannot expect love, support, and emotional, dependency on your family if you are unwilling to at least give a little bit of yourself in return. And she doesn't like that. That's a form of commitment that Chantel is not comfortable with. Because if she is accountable to her family for her time and her effort and her energy and everything else, if she's just accountable to her family, even just a call, then that is a hold that they have on her. And as we know, Chantel does not like it when people have a hold on her for anything, because it's something when she's going to let down. She doesn't want that. She wants to be free to do whatever she wants. And that's your decision to make. If you want to live that lifestyle where you're unaccountable to anyone, that's fine. But you cannot simultaneously ask for support and sympathy and care and effort from them. It just doesn't work like that. Either you get all of that love, support, and sympathy, or you don't. Either you get that effort, or you don't. Either you, sorry, let me rephrase what I'm trying to say, because I think I got a little scattered. What I'm trying to say is that you can get all of that love, support, and sympathy from them if you're willing to give them something in return. You can either get all of that and you can give a little, or you can get nothing. Because at some point, especially when it comes to family, especially when it comes to friends, people are going to look at the way that you're treating them and realize that it's an unequal exchange. And they're going to get fed up with it, right? And this happens with everyone. Eventually, you're going to come to the point where you're going to look at the other person and says, I've been putting in effort. I call you to make sure you're okay. I call you to make sure you're doing fine. You don't even call me back, much less ask how I'm doing. And when they realize that, they're going to leave you, because there comes a point with most people, unless it's a very unhealthy dependent relationship, that they're not going to stand by and let you treat them like trash. And that's where I think she has the issue. It's like she says, she's like, well, just having you guys here for support means everything. When what she's saying is that shut up and give me your money and views, but don't ask me anything or hold me accountable. It's the same expectation she has in all aspects of her life. I shouldn't have to call you every day if I don't want to. No, but if you're asking me for my help every couple of days, then yeah, you gotta call me back. You know, if I'm calling you and you don't call me back several days in a row, and then you call me out of the blue and ask for my help, I'm well within my rights to say, fuck you, and shove off. So you can't treat people like that and expect that they're going to be there for you when you need them. It's a two-way street. And that's what Chantel has difficulty dealing with. That's what she means when she says, you know, how much am I going to have to pay for it? How much of my audience is going to leave if I'm not here every single day, reassuring them that my thought pattern is the correct thought pattern? How much am I going to have to pay for not calling my mother back for the 7th time the next time I needed to drive me to the ER, right? How much am I going to have to pay the next time I cancel on Shannon to go on a trip? That's what she means. She means what it's going to cost her. She doesn't care about the emotional toll it takes on the other person, and she doesn't particularly seem to care about the relationship itself, only how it will impact her negatively going forward, because God forbid people have expectations from her. There was about a minute more of this, but I cut it out mostly because my laptop is having issues, and also because I don't think it was all that important. Chantel is struggling with some of the same stuff that she was struggling with before, right? It's not exactly new information. It's not exactly surprising. What I take away from this, from a lot of her live streams recently, has just been how much she's struggling with keeping people on her side. And she keeps trying to reassure people. She keeps bringing up how, you know, you should be there for me. You should do this for me. Same with the way that she talks about her family. She wants the love and support and just emotional investment from people in her when she's not willing to return any of that. And quite frankly, I think that that's not a correct way to exist. I don't know if that's necessarily what I mean. I just mean that I think that that's an unfair expectation that she's placed on people. And quite frankly, I think it's not going to result in anything productive. Anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you hated this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. As always, all my social media is linked down below. Well, I skipped something, didn't I? Yes. Go down below and subscribe. Please hit the all notifications button if you want to know when I upload any videos right away. I've got all my social medias linked down below. I've got Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that I'm doing here and you want me to continue, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. You don't have to when it's not necessary, but I always appreciate it. And thank you to all my lovely patrons for making all of this possible, especially to D. Higgins, who's my $25 patron. I love you, girl. Thank you so much. As always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Wild Rose, Xanthal, Jam Beans, Colleen L, Debbie Elliott, Just a Jude, Kate O, and D. Higgins.